Hello and welcome to another episode of Spike Chats. My name is Rene Carriol and I have the pleasure of having Ashley Theophane with me here in the studio today. So, Ashley, welcome to the podcast. I'd like to talk to you about your career as a boxer, where it all started, but I'd like to focus on where it's going to in the future. So where did it all start?
My father was a boxing fan, and he used to watch the big fights in America, and he would allow me to watch them with him. So when I used to see these guys doing this, I wanted to try it out. My dad allowed me at All Stars Boxing Club, and that was the start.
Was there no fear? Weren't you afraid of this macho, tough, brutal sport?
As a child, it was fun. I went to the boxing gym, and it was just other kids there, and we just had fun together. But we done a sport, so you made friends, you did a sport, and then that was the end of it. So it was just fun at the start. But I always wanted to be a boxer, but I didn't know if I could actually become that good.
Was there nothing else on your mind you wanted to be? It was boxing, nothing but boxing?
As a child, that was the only thing. When you get asked what you want to do. When I was a child, I wanted to be a professional boxer. So I'm very proud that I went on to achieve. I always say I live in my childhood dream.
But at the time, you came from humble origins.
Yes.
It would have been tough.
Yeah, very tough.
Not everyone was working.
Yeah.
What enabled you to be so single-minded on such a tough career?
Even though, like my mum and dad, we wasn't rich or anything, it like I always had what I needed. So I wouldn't have what I wanted. If I said, Dad, I wanted some Nikes, I would never get Nikes, I would get Nicks. My mum and dad, they made sure I was always warm, I was always fed. They tried to make sure I had manners. So, it was just, I was a kid, I was having fun, and boxing was part of that fun.
So where did it start? You went to All Stars.
Yes.
And did you have an amateur career?
All Stars Boxing Club. I was an amateur for maybe 5 or 6 years.
Mm-hmm. And how did you find that?
It was good. It was hard, but it's like I always knew that the amateur boxing wasn't for me, because my eyes were always like, I want to be a pro boxer. So that was always my long-term goal. So I was just doing that until I could turn pro.
When did you turn pro?
Turn pro in 2002.
Wow.
Long time.
Did you have a manager, promoter?
I had like a manager that was Mr. AK. That was my amateur coach. Yes. And then he wanted to start me off and, prepare me for the boxing life. So he looked after me at the start.
So you got going?
Yes.
You found that you were quite good at it?
Yeah.
What gave you the discipline?
To discipline, I always said I'm just going to give my best. So that was why I would get up in the morning, run, go boxing, do my strength stuff. I just wanted to try my best, and whatever I achieved.
But you were on your own?
Yeah.
How do you motivate yourself when you're on? It's easy when you're in a team.
Yeah.
When it's 3 or 4 or 5 of you, pushing each other, supporting each other.
Yeah.
Who pushed you?
I pushed myself. Like my dad was always like, just try your best. My mum didn't really like boxing because she didn't want me to get her, but I just wanted to give it a go. And it was very hard for like the first 5 years, because I wasn't making no money, and the British boxing, I didn't really get like no opportunities. So it was very hard, but I just said I'm gonna give my best, and whatever I achieve, I achieve.
Why didn't you give up?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I just because it was my childhood dream, it's the only thing I ever wanted to do. So I was like, I'm gonna give this my all. I'm gonna do it I gave myself a time limit, and then I was like, from when I finish that time, I can walk away, and whatever I achieve, I achieve. So that's basically where I am now.
But your discipline moved you to get qualifications as a dietitian.
Yeah.
Nutritionist.
Yeah.
Why was that important to you?
Well, I didn't have the money to hire one, so I had to be my own one.
But it's proved to be more than worthwhile.
Yeah.
What did it give you?
Well, it made me know what foods to eat, what foods could help me lose weight, for training as well, to help me do strength training. So it was very good for me because even there's some young boxers now that I know, there's one, he just collapsed because he didn't know how to make weight. So a lot of boxers, I think, should do this because you have to know at the end of the day, your coach won't go home with you. So you have to know what you have to eat
Very
and
good.
what you have to do. So at the end of the day, it's good that you have a team, but you have to look after you. So a lot of these boxers are blind to the risks of not eating and not drinking. And if they can't make weight, they start to panic and they think, I'm just going to train hard. But then they don't put no food in their body, and
So
food
you've got
is
to
energy.
replenish. You've got to replenish.
Yeah, so it's very sad to see that it's still going on now. Like, that was the reason why I started to learn, and it's sad to see that many boxers now
Still don't
don't know.
It's a tragedy.
Yes.
British title fight.
Yeah.
Out of all the challenges you had, you rose to fight for the British title.
Yeah.
Lenny Dawes.
Yeah.
Wembley.
Great fighter. Great venue.
I was at ringside.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Did you feel you could win? You didn't have a lot of support in the arena.
Yeah. I believed in myself because the year before I had beat the world number 3 in the USA. So that's when I got the chance to fight Lenny because they
Yes.
wanted my world ranking. So I flew back to like the UK, and I always believed I could beat him. And he was an amateur star and I was an amateur. So I knew very much about him, but he didn't know me. And I believed I could win, and I just trained so hard. And then on the night, I think that's what made me win, because I just wouldn't be beaten that night.
Do you know what I remember? Really clearly. Sitting at ringside, everyone in the arena seemed to be cheering for Lenny.
Yeah,
And he went quiet.
yeah,
I remember him going down a couple of times.
yeah,
And your hand being raised.
yeah,
I remember that. But no one seemed to be cheering for you.
yeah.
I remember that so clearly. How did that make you feel?
I didn't notice it because I was just in my own world, because I had proved the doubters wrong, and I had achieved what many thought I couldn't. So my mum was there, so that was a very proud thing for her. My dad was very proud, and my team was very proud. So I didn't really care about the fans. It was about my family and my friends.
The following day, I looked through all the sports press, and the fight was well reported.
Yeah,
But again, they talked about Lenny losing,
yeah.
not about you winning. Again, does that affect you?
No, because coming from where I come from, when I was young, I always used to think that no one cares about us, and it was the same thing in boxing. Like, no one cared about me, so I was used to no one believing in me. So no, it didn't bother me at all.
So you've established yourself in the UK.
Yes.
You're a British champion.
Yeah.
But still, the promoters didn't come running, knocking at your door.
Yeah.
Why? You're a British champion.
Yeah. It didn't happen.
Again, I'll ask you again, how does that make you feel?
I've just always had a belief in myself that sometimes you have to do things what no one else is willing to do. So you have to walk your own path. And through my professional boxing career, I've always walked my own path. So I've always done things what the other boxers won't do, and I just do it. And it's led me to do some great things.
You started fighting abroad
Yes.
when not many British boxers, let alone champions,
Yeah.
would travel abroad.
Yeah.
You found yourself in America.
Yeah.
Why?
Because that was the reason why I started to box in the first place. I always wanted to go over there.
American heroes.
Yeah. So that was the reason why, and I wanted to see if I could cut it over there, and I got on with them.
It was a bit of a baptism of fire, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was scary because they're very loud and brash, and I'm like a Brit, so I was more reserved. So it was a crazy world, like just being a bit scared.
You started off at Gleason's, did you?
Yes, yeah,
Gleason's gym in Brooklyn, New
yeah.
York. What did that teach you? What did you get out from going to Gleason's?
I made some great friends for life, and it just showed me that I could do it, and they believed in me. They was the first to actually believe in me, and they instilled a belief in myself. So they made me believe in myself.
Very good.
Yeah,
You're going back and forth
yeah,
and travelling to other countries.
yeah.
At some stage of the game, you found your way to Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
How does that happen? You were a British champion.
Yeah.
You're domiciled here. Probably one of the greatest fighters in history.
Yeah.
You found yourself in Las Vegas at his gym. How did you get into that gym?
It was very weird because I was in America and I was in New York for 8 weeks, and I thought I don't want to be here for 8 weeks because I'm going.
Was that 8 weeks training? Was
Yes,
that training?
I was there to train, and I was like, I'm gonna be bored here, and I saw that Floyd had just started camp for one of his fights, so I thought I'll fly over there. I didn't know if I could go in his gym or anything, so I flew over there. And then I got there and I was like, I don't even know where his gym is. So then I had to research. Then I went to his gym, walked in there. I was a bit scared again. And then they said, who are you? I said I was the British champ. They said, okay. So then they walked me in the gym and they said I could watch Floyd train. So when he finished, I started to leave the gym and he stopped me. He said, who are you? I said, I'm Ashley Theophane, the British champ. And then he looked me up and down. And he said, I'm going to have to see if you're any good. And I said, I'm here for 2 weeks. I love to spar. He said, all right, cool. And then, so I was there for 2 weeks and they were so cool to me. So then I was no longer British champion. A year went by and I thought, you know what? Floyd was good. He was good towards me. I'm going to fly back there and see if I can get on his team. Went there again. A year had gone by and he remembered me. And I was very surprised because he meets so much boxers in his life. And he said, the British guy's back. I said, yeah, I'm here. And then for 2 months, I was just around him. And then afterwards, he said, I want to sign you. And then that was the end of it.
How long did you spend there?
I was there for 2 months because he had a fight. So I was just going for runs of him, watched him train. He watched me spar. And it was a great time.
You signed up.
Yeah.
How many years did you spend with the Mayweather camp?
I was with Floyd for 5 years.
And you fought for a world title?
Yes.
Which was your dream?
My dream.
Many said you'd never do it.
Yep.
You proved them wrong yet again.
I did.
How did it feel?
That night, I was very proud of myself because this was a dream I had for 29 years. And to finally be there, like to never give up. I had so many times in my life where I didn't have no money or I didn't have this. And to finally be at the night that I had dreamt of as a kid, it was very worthwhile.
How old are you now?
38 years old.
In the twilight of your career.
Yes.
And it's the most brutal and toughest sport.
Yes.
And many of our great champions from boxing, the stories never end so well. How's your story going to progress?
I would like to open up my own gym and help kids the way that I've been helped, to change their life, to give them hope. I think that my boxing gym would be a good thing.
And All Stars found you.
Yes.
They helped you.
Yes.
It was a tough neighbourhood.
Yeah, it is.
What was it about All Stars that you want to see happen in your own new gym?
Well, with All Stars, it's always been a safe place for kids.
In a not so safe environment.
Yes. And it just brings everyone together. I've made so many friends there for life, and we are a family. So the gym is actually a family. So and it's a good source for the community as well.
And it's not just boys nowadays, is it?
It's boys and girls.
boxing has an attraction. How has it attracted girls?
I think it's with the British. A lot of girls around the world are starting to do great things, and I think that's good for the sport, but it's also good for women and little girls because they see girls and then they are inspired. So it brings in more, and it's great for the sport.
So, Grenfell,
Yeah.
the Grenfell Tower. You grew up in the shadow of the Grenfell.
Yeah.
What did Grenfell mean to you?
You know, again, it's very sad because it's like where we're from. It's like no one cares about us, like, and it's just kind of like the same thing that a lot of them died because no one cared about them.
You were close to it.
Yeah, very, very.
On the night of the Grenfell, how did you feel? On the ensuing days, how did you feel? What did you do?
I couldn't believe it. I watched it in the news. I had a friend in America that she phoned me to see that I was okay because she wasn't sure if I lived there. And I went down there to help out because I had some friends who had friends that lived there and they got out. So yeah, it was very sad, but it was nice to see that so many came together to help them because I was down there for like 2 days. So that was the good thing, but it was very sad.
Were you there when the Prime Minister came down?
Yes, she got booed.
Jeremy Corbyn also came down.
Yeah.
A slightly different reception.
Yeah. I think because he went to meet them and she didn't go to meet them, so that was, I think, the hard thing.
What was it about Corbyn's visit that had such a different outcome and reception to the Prime Minister's?
He came across like he cared. He was more warm, and yeah.
You're a bit of an activist yourself, aren't you?
I try to be.
Why?
Because we all need help at some point in our life.
You're on a mission, aren't you?
Yes.
Share with us that mission.
You know where I come from. I won't say a bad area, but it's a poor area. And when you're born around a poor area, you sometimes you get involved in crime, which is easy for young kids. So you know, where I've come from. I want to show kids you don't have to go into crime. You can go into sports. You can go into art. You can go into law. So, you know, that's what I would like to do to inspire kids, you know, to fulfill their true potential.
And this brings us back down to your gyms. Yeah. You want your gyms back where you came from.
Yeah.
Why?
Because there's not a lot of places for kids to go. So I think like boxing has saved many boxers, helped boxers to change their life. And I would like, with what's going on now with the knife crime, I think to open up my own boxing gym would be a good thing.
So let's talk a little bit more about this. Knife crime, gangs, removed from school.
Yeah.
Distance from parents.
Yeah.
Fatherless homes. Mental health issues in the black community. The story piles up. It's complex for many.
Yeah.
But you seem to have a better understanding than most. And through the network of gyms, right in the states where these kids come from, do you honestly think it could provide an alternative to what seems so easy, so dangerous, but maybe so captivating, the gangs?
I believe it can save a lot of them because a lot of them say they want to do this, they want to do that, but they got nowhere to turn. They got the only people that they trust or can talk to is their peers. So it would be good. Me, I've been a boxer. I've achieved what I've achieved, so it would be good to have my own gym where they can come to talk to me and to help them. But I think a lot of these kids need help.
And they will talk to you.
Yeah.
You're part of them.
Yeah.
Can you explain to us? It seems a sudden and explosive rise in knife crime.
Yeah.
Where did it all come from? It didn't seem it was here 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's everywhere.
I think it's a lot of the cuts. The kids have nowhere to go, and that's why I think they need more things to do because they have energy, and if you got nowhere to go with energy, a lot of times you're gonna do the wrong thing. So I think a lot of them don't want to do crime, but you're bored, so you just get involved in it. So I do think that a lot of these kids they need a place, some to go.
So let's see if I've caught this right. If you can build gyms in those estates, because they're not going to come out into central London
Yeah.
as big, flash, expensive gyms, but give them an alternative
Yeah.
with people who understand them, people who care about them. And if we throw in the discipline that boxing brings, the training that boxing brings, that might just take them away from the life of the gangs,
I think boxing can save a lot of these kids,
boys and girls.
boys and girls. Yes.
And you're also intending to help some of the retired boxers who have also fallen on hard
Yeah.
times. So there's a double-edged sword there.
Yeah.
Provide them work to be the trainers, but also look after those locals which they have credibility with. It's a compelling plan, actually.
It is, but it can work.
So let me ask you the $64 million question. It's such a good plan. When are you going to retire and start this plan?
I would say within the next year.
What else have you got to achieve in your career?
Well, currently I'm doing a world tour, so I've got 44 wins. I aim for 6 more wins. Then after that, I can ride off into the sunset and help these kids.
You're 38.
Yes,
6 more wins gets you to 50 fights.
yes, 50 wins.
Aren't you in danger of risking everything with 6 more fights? 6 more fights is a lot.
It is. I've had 5 wins in the last 12 months. I'm trying to do that, so I would be done.
But you're careful, aren't you?
Very.
Tell me about the precautions you take with your health and your well-being.
I think with most boxers, it's a sport that we don't think about the risks, and like with all of us, with one punch, you can be hurt. So it's best to get in, get what you can, then get out.
Very good.
So.
But we've talked about diet,
Yeah.
we've talked about nutrition.
Yeah.
But you have to take regular tests, don't you?
Yes.
Tell me about the testing.
Okay, so we take brain scans, you do eye tests, you do blood tests. So there every year you have to do these things.
And if you fail them, you don't get your
It's
license.
over. If you fail them, you can't box at all. So if there is a change in your brain through the MRI scans, if there's a little change in your brain, you cannot box at all.
And that's the right thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to be safe because the sport, it takes too many lives.
And it's probably more rigorous here in the UK than anywhere else. Is that correct?
Very, very.
Why is it so much tougher here?
I think because there's been death and the sport don't like the backlash what it gets. So I think that the boxing board of control are very, very strict. And if your eyes are bad, they won't allow you to box. If you've had some injuries, if your brain, it's over for you. So they're very strict.
So we're coming towards the close now.
Yeah.
5 years from here, the treasure gyms are working.
Yeah.
They're taking kids off the street. They have retired professional boxers as trainers. In the mornings and in the evenings, you've got a more professional clientele who are paying to go.
Yeah.
What happens next? You've spread through Westminster. Can you see this going national?
I would like it to go worldwide. Why not? Why not have my boxing gyms across the world? I've been in America for 12 years now. So, I've connections there. So why not help the kids here and then go help the kids in America or where else in the world?
And why not indeed?
Yeah.
Ashley Theophane, thank you very much for sharing with us. It's illuminating that you can come from humble origins, box all around the world, and still care enough to come back and give back to the community that helped you at the start. It's been fabulous talking to you. Thank you very much indeed, Ashley.
Thank you. you, Renee.
Last year, I released my book, Spike. What are you great at? In the world of Spike, there are no losers anymore. Everyone has something they are great at. Now you can get it as an Audible book from Amazon's Audible, read by me and the people contributing their stories whilst you're driving, at the gym or walking the dog. Download it now from Audible.